Welcome to the Real Life Wellness Podcast, the show where we explore how to create your own wellness. We dive into everything that happens on the journey to a happier, healthier, and more balanced life. I'm your host, Faith Lauterbach. As a registered nurse and a holistic wellness coach, I have a passion for empowering people to create a vision for their life, prioritize themselves, and then live the life they want. So get ready to discover new ways to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Let's embark on this journey together and make wellness simple. Well, hello, and welcome back to the Real Life Wellness Podcast. It is summer. We're in the middle of July as I'm recording this, and I hope you're having a great summer. I don't know about you, but summer, even though I don't have small children in school anymore, summer just has a different feel. It's like there's just a different energy in the air during summer. I don't know if you've experienced that or not, but whatever you're doing this summer, I hope that you're finding some time to honor yourself and your mind, body, and spirit. And with that, I thought a good topic would be, because it's a question I get asked a lot, is like, what exactly does holistic health and wellness mean? A lot of people have heard that word, heard that phrase, but exactly what it is and how it applies to you personally may be something that you have wondered. So let's just dive into kind of an overall introduction to holistic health and wellness, what it means to me, and then some practical tips about using it in your own life and how it can benefit you and the people around you. So, as you may or may not know, I'm a registered nurse. I have been a nurse for over 18 years and started my nursing career in a very traditional nursing job. Along the way, I found that the traditional model of care was really not making us healthier. It was kind of holding us back and keeping us stuck in this cycle. There's a lot of caring for people in a reactive way instead of a preventative way. And it's problematic, to be honest. So I love being able to talk about holistic health and wellness, because really it's just looking at the whole person and not just individual symptoms. It involves a balance of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. And, nothing we do is in a vacuum. So when we look at something, just specific symptoms or just a specific part of our life, and we're not looking at the whole picture, we are really missing out. I like to give the example of something that I feel like is very relatable. Our jobs, right? If what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is very stressful and we have days that we are just overwhelmed, that alone can impact the way we're eating, because maybe we had a healthy meal plan for dinner, but because of the stress of the day, we're going to just go through the drive-thru because that's easier. And we're going to make choices that we didn't want to make. So one of the reasons why holistic health and wellness is so important is because it addresses this exact thing: how to manage stress, even at work, so that it impacts how we're eating, how we're moving our body in a positive way, and the way that we want to be doing it. So let's kind of talk about some key points of holistic health. So this mind-body connection, and you may have heard that before, mind-body connection. If you're not sure exactly what that means, it really just means our mind and body are deeply connected. So this is where practices like mindfulness, meditation, yoga can help reduce our stress and improve that overall well-being. When we have practices that are really honing in to connect our mind and body, it can help with that situation I just talked about with work. When we have practices that we are doing regularly, it helps regulate our nervous system. And so that when we are around more stressful situations, we're more equipped to handle it and for it to not spiral us into choices that we're not wanting to make, behavior we're not wanting to have. So this mind-body connection is a really important piece. It can really start with just a few minutes of mindful breathing each day, gradually increasing the time as you become more comfortable, using those breathing techniques when we're in stressful situations, but having regular practices daily that we are pausing and having mindfulness, practicing meditation or prayer. So the second key point I'll talk about is nutrition. Food is medicine. Maybe you've heard that term before. I know I've said it here on my podcast, but what we're putting in our bodies is more important and has more impact than even the medicine that we are taking. It is key. It is key to living a healthy life is focusing on food and what we're eating and drinking. So just very basic is focusing on balanced diets rich in whole foods. So eating foods in their most original form. So these are like fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains. And when I say whole grains, I'm not talking about whole grain bread. Bread is a processed food. It is not a whole grain. It may have some whole grain in it, but it is not a whole grain food. Whole grains are going to be things like quinoa and rice, things that are in their most natural form. There's no bread plant. There's no plant you can go pick bread off of. So that is not a whole food. Also, staying hydrated and listening to your body's hunger and fullness cues is an important piece to nutrition. So having some mindfulness when it comes to eating our food and not just, shoveling it in as fast as we can or eating behind our computer where we're not able to cue into those signals our body gives us on when we're hungry and when we're full. The third key point I want to talk about with holistic health and wellness is physical activity. So regular movement of our body is essential for maintaining health. Our bodies are meant to move, and when we are sedentary, our bodies suffer. And not just our bodies, our mind and bodies suffer when we are sedentary. And unfortunately, a lot of our lives are created in a way that encourages a sedentary lifestyle. So a great way to monitor this is by using a fitness watch and watching your steps. If you are under 5,000 steps a day, that is considered sedentary. So intentionally finding ways to move our bodies is really important because a lot of our jobs these days do not include a lot of moving. So we have to create it. So finding an exercise routine that you enjoy, walking daily, even having a dance party every day, yoga, riding your bike, finding a workout class that you like. There's a lot of different ways to move our bodies, but it's finding the things that we enjoy and that we're going to do, making it a habit, and trying to get at least 30 minutes of moderate movement most days of the week. And again, using your step counter on your watch or your phone to help guide you and see how you're doing on that. All right, the fourth key point of holistic health and wellness is sleep. Quality sleep is crucial for your overall health. Our sleep impacts every system in our body. So if we're not getting good sleep, it is really hard to be the most healthy and well that we can be. So establish a bedtime routine, limit screen time before bed, and create an environment that is inviting for sleep are some basic ways to really start honing in on getting good sleep. The fifth key point I'll talk about with our holistic health and wellness is our emotional and spiritual wellness. So these things are an important piece. So taking time to nurture our emotional side and our spiritual side. So this can include things like journaling, using journal prompts or free writing, connecting with people that we love, making sure that there's things on our calendar that we are enjoying, that we are looking forward to, maybe spending time in nature, watching a sunset or a sunrise, and then engaging in spiritual practices that resonate with you. This does not have to be religious. Spirituality is different. It can involve religious practices, just depending on what feels right to you. Those are the things to add to your life. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's what is meaningful to you. All right, now we've covered the basics. And again, that's a very general and basic, broad overview of those points of holistic health and wellness. And I'm very passionate about even getting deeper into those things. So please connect with me if you have questions or if you want to talk more about it. I would love to. But now let's get into some practical tips that you can implement today to bring more holistic health and wellness to your life. My very first podcast, episode 1, is about this first tip, morning routines. So if you haven't listened to my first episode, it's called Start a Morning Routine and Change Your Life. I think that was the title, but it's the first one. It goes deep into morning routines, but I will say, personal experience, starting a morning routine changed and saved my life. I'm a big believer in this, and it doesn't have to be like an hour-long thing. It can literally be 10 minutes. But starting your day with intention is so important. So maybe it includes a few minutes of mindfulness or meditation. You can find a guided meditation in lots of ways on apps, on YouTube. But starting your day with some kind of just check-in with yourself, having a nutritious and nutrient-dense breakfast, and maybe some form of movement, even if it's just a few minutes of stretching. But taking a moment to just be with yourself before the craziness and busyness of the day is really important. This really sets a positive tone for the rest of your day. So, tip number 2 for bringing practical ways to have more holistic health and wellness in your life is meal planning. Plan your meals ahead of time to ensure you are nourishing your bodies with foods that are going to help it and not hurt it. This can help you avoid unhealthy choices, save time and stress during busy days, and kind of going back to that, keeping your meals balanced with lean proteins, fruits, veggies, whole, real foods. And, think about adding new colors and textures to your plate. Meal planning can be done, on the weekend if that's a time you have more time, but having, even if it's every day you have something similar for lunch, maybe Mondays is a day you have like burgers, Tuesdays, tacos, having a theme each day to keep it simple. There's lots of different tips, and I actually do have a podcast episode about meal planning. I can't remember which episode it is, but if you look back, you will see there's something about simple meal planning. Take a listen to that one, and it will give you some ideas on how to keep this simple. All right, tip number 3 is hydration. This is so important. For most people, and again, check with your medical provider if you have, specific situations or scenarios, but for most people, drinking half of your body weight in ounces is a good place to start on staying hydrated. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you would want to have 75 ounces of water a day. Drinking enough water supports your body's functions. It can help with energy levels. It can also, sometimes when we feel hungry, we're really thirsty. And so it can help curb eating when we're not really hungry. Tip number 4 is stress management. Identify your stress triggers and find healthy ways to manage them. So, like earlier we talked about having like a stressful day at work, if this is something that is happening often, really dive into what is going on there and where you can find improvements. Techniques, again, those breathing exercises, taking a short break during work, like having some regular time where you get up from your desk, go outside, and also making sure that you have a balance. Outside of work, you're doing things that bring you joy, hobbies that you love, things, again, that you're looking forward to on your calendar so that there's a balance. Tip number 5 is a gratitude practice. So end and start your day with gratitude. Reflect on 3 specific things that happened in your day that you are grateful for. And gratitude is one of those things that I think there can be some toxic thoughts around that. Because if we try to just force, like, everything's great, I can't ever complain, or I can't ever have a negative thought, that's not real life. But having an intentional and authentic gratitude practice is being specific, instead of just like, I love my family, I'm grateful for my family, where, like, yes, most people probably are grateful for their family, but finding something specific like, my husband brought me coffee this morning, or my son gave me a really big hug without me asking him to do that. Those kinds of things, taking the time to recognize those small moments that bring us joy, can really help just have more appreciation in our life. And even take a moment, take a couple deep breaths as you think about whatever those moments are for you. Let a smile come on your face. Remember how that felt when that thing happened that is bringing you gratitude. So reflecting on that either in the beginning of your day or the end of your day, or both, can really help shift your mindset and improve your overall outlook on life. It also can create where you're looking for these things that you are enjoying. You're on the lookout more. If you know you're going to sit down and think about it, your mind is already on the lookout. Okay. So here's a few things. If you're wondering, like, how can I stay motivated to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Which can be a really big question. Like, motivation can feel really challenging. Some of the things that can be helpful are setting realistic goals and tracking your progress. What we're tracking is what we're finding important, and then what we're doing. So having a system where you're checking in with yourself in the morning about the goals that you've set and how is that progress going. Finding an accountability partner, right? So another person who wants to go on a walk every morning. I've done that in my own life. I have a good friend that we walk every morning, and it is so nice because I probably wouldn't do it if I didn't have her doing it as well. So find an accountability partner. And then celebrate your successes. So if you set a goal to walk around the block every day and you're doing that, celebrate that. Be proud of that. It's a big accomplishment to stay consistent with the things that you want to do. And then know your why. Know your why on why you're doing what you're doing. It helps connect and make you more able to stay with it, to be consistent when you know your why. You know, I have, when I work with people, a lot of times I work with people who are wanting to lose weight. And I know that goal specifically can kind of start feeling superficial. It can feel like, you know, it's only just about the way I look. So is it really that important? But usually when people want to lose weight, there's a deeper why. You know, maybe it is to spend more time with their kids, to feel better in their body, to be able to keep up with their grandkids, or, you know, just to have more energy so that they're able to be present in their life. There's usually a deeper why, and that why is really important. So I hope some of these things felt good for you to learn, to hear more about. I would love to get your feedback on what you thought about it. If you have questions, if something really related with you, I am a holistic health and wellness coach, so I help people with these very things. I'd love to chat. I do like a consultation that's about an hour long. It's free. We talk about what you have going on in your life and where you need support. In my show notes, find a link to schedule in the calendar on what works for you. And we can dive deeper into your specific needs and see how I can help support you in reaching those goals. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, be well. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Real Life Wellness Podcast. To stay updated on my latest episodes and wellness insights, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow me on social media. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to explore, feel free to reach out. I love hearing from you. If you could, please review or rate this podcast on Apple or Spotify to help more people learn how to make wellness simple.